All right, hi there. Didn't think I'd be uploading on this channel again anytime soon, but I've had a little wave of inspiration. So, as the title and thumbnail might suggest, I've ended up picking up Red Corsairs as a Chaos Space Marine army for a few reasons. I've always kind of thought they were cool, and when you play Lamenters, you kind of can't help but look at the other Bad Up War stuff and think, what other chapters are cool and things like that, and what makes a perfect foil for making your fast moving melee Space Marine army than the sort of board control shooty ish Chaos Warband that kind of screwed them over in the Bad Ab War. Kind of a fun foil. But also, of course, with the new models that Abaddon and his crew and the Raiders and the Reaver Captain all got at the end of 10th, very tempted at the time to pick them up, like as they were announced. But I figured I'd wait. New edition dropped, looked at them again, still wanted them. So, if that's not a sign, 4 months of waiting and still wanting it, I don't know what is. But let us run through what we've got so far. So, what I ended up doing is I ended up finding I think it's Lords of the Maelstrom, the big Battle Force box. Ended up finding that on a discount retailer, so getting that cheaper. Not too bad, especially. But that starts me off with 10 Legionnaires, 5 Terminators, some Traitor Guardsmen, couple. I've built them as a pair of 5-man squads of the Raiders rather than one big one. Just makes sense for area control. And a Reeve Captain. Alongside that, I've also got the Masters of the Maelstrom box, so Huron and his buddies, a Rhino. I got a Horus Heresy Rhino just because I think they look better, and for some reason they're cheaper than the 40k ones, despite being a more modern and better kit, at least in my opinion. Alongside also converting up a Chaos Sorcerer Terminator out of Kanakvok. How is that guy's name pronounced? Kanakavar, the Iron Hands character, the one with all the augments and the big club, because I figured, oh hey, I could leave that armor plate off of his big mechanical leg, and that's kind of like a peg leg. Then I just happen to have the bare Tech Marine head left over, some bits from the Chaos Terminators kit that I got, and he just ended up coming out as a pretty cool sort of cyborg Terminator pirate sorcerer with the servo skull to represent the little familiar that Chaos Sorcerers get. So that is also kind of 1,000 points. You're substituting what are the characters? It's Garland Soul Eater and Head Taker. Just using those as a regular sorcerer and master of executions even. That just makes a very tidy 1,000 point list. I think maybe enough space for an enhancement. So that should be pretty fun to play with and sort of get used to the strategy of forward deploy. You're not really going hyper killy. It's more like target a thing, get rid of it, control the board, control objectives, and sort of weather the storm. Stop your opponent from doing things as much as it is just because I'm very used to my Blood Angels just going in, kill, kill, kill. So that should be quite fun. That should be a interesting playstyle to have to learn. Uh, but also, to go with that, I do have plans for 2K for 2,000 points. For 2K just sounds like something else. Um, I will show that stuff as I get to it. I've built a decent chunk of it. I've got it all planned out. But obviously things might change with points and balance things. But also I'm not going to show everything up front just so I can drip feed the bigger stuff that I've got planned for this. This is just this first 1,000 points is the majority of the infantry and the core fundamental stuff. But should be interesting. I've also got a plan to hopefully speed up the paint jobs. What I've been doing is I'm doing a weird sort of combination for Zenithal. doing the Colour Forge Hyrax Brown sort of all over Sanguine Red is like a Zenithal from above. It gets me some nice bright reds, but also some nice sort of rich brown shadows. It looks very nice, just already just base primed, and so just most of the painting is actually highlighting that up a little bit to give it a bit more punch. But then just dealing with details like metals, gold, all the other little accoutrements, like most of the surface area is accounted for from just the priming. And then for anything big, like the Rhino, I started out with just pure regular GW Chaos Black, and then did the same over that, just to give it a bit more contrast, helps make it look a bit bigger and heavier. And as a little bit of a test, I have actually painted up the Reeve Captain, sort of following advice from a Ninjon video. It's like, pick a model that you think is cool, make it like something like a character, something you want to look decent, but not your most important one, so you're not worried about futzing it up. So grab the Reeve Captain. And for a character, base and all, it took me only, like, I say 7 hours. That sounds like a long time. For me, that's really not. So that has actually, hopefully, really sped up the painting process for these guys. So should make it a bit more attainable. As for goals for this, obviously, I've already said I've listed out for 2,000 points already. That might change, partially because the goal for this, I'm not going to do what I did with the Lamenters and give myself just a year to grab 2K in its various states and try and finish that up. I'm hoping, because this is the army I've picked up for 11th, that I can have it done by the end of 11th. So basically a 3-year time frame. Like, we're currently a couple of months into 11th edition. So by the time 12th rolls around, this should hopefully be done. Hopefully, I'm not going to be too stressy about it. It's what I want to do, but I'm not going to force myself. Alongside these videos, I'm not going to do them super regularly. I've not got a schedule. I'm just going to do them as relevant things get done. Just so, like, obviously, I like my variety. It's why I play as many armies as I do. Uh, it just sort of helps keep the ball rolling, helps me from preventing burnout. Like, if I get bored of doing a Corsair, I can grab a Necron, I can grab a Lamenter, I could grab a Custodes. I've picked those up in the meantime as well. That was mostly just because, like, hey, 20 models makes 2,000 points. Sure, I'll do that. It's been a very cheap army to build. It was originally for a campaign that fell through because they wanted it to be a campaign where, like, your units didn't gain experience unless they were painted. So I was like, well, most of my stuff is painted anyway. So it's not really motivating me. Oh, I know. What's a better way to show people up than show up with a new army that none of them knew I was going to be playing fully painted? And I think the most attainable for that was Custodes. But like I say, that campaign fell through. I've kept Custodes though. I've really enjoyed playing them. It's been really nice. Like just having bricky units. So hopefully this army, whilst it's being more of a board control ranged army, that difference in play style and difference in stat lines, actually, to be fair, there's a bit more variety in Chaos for stats and unit types, also feels fresh and fun to play, despite the fact a lot of it is going to be toughness 4 free up armor saves, which I'm used to with Lamenters. But yeah, hopefully this is a plan that should work out. It should be quite fun. I've got some interesting ideas. Some of them kind of standard, just because it's like, well, I'll do the standard things because the standard things do appeal to me. But also, I've got some ideas here and there for something a little different. Show that off as it occurs. But to that end, thank you for sitting and listening to me ramble. Hopefully, there's something more to show sooner rather than later. But if you don't hear from me from a little bit on this, don't worry that it's dead. I'm probably just slowly working on it in my own pace. And I will update when I've got something to show, be a unit or a character. And my plan is sort of like, I've painted a character up now. sort of to breadcrumb myself along and keep myself interested, I am going to paint just a unit next because I like painting my characters. I kind of have to, have a vegetable, have a sweet, have a vegetable, have a sweet. Hopefully, doing it that way, I can get this done without leaving myself a pile of infantry I wasn't too interested in doing, while occasionally just having to do one. But the infantry units are small in comparison. It's not like massive mobs of dudes. And it should be, like I say, with the primer plan, a little less painful. But yeah, thank you for listening through the ramble. Next time you hear from me from this project, hopefully there's a decent update to show. And here's to some cool demon worshipping Chaos Space Marine pirates. Yeehaw! Or just R.